Good morning, people of the cardboard, and welcome back to Fun Deck. So we have a new card coming out of Chaos Origins. It feels like it's been a bit since we got this. We still have like a little more than a dozen cards to be revealed, but we have new ritual support, which is pretty cool. Also scary because, Mitsurugi. So this is Corrupted Ritual Record. So you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. Reveal one ritual spell in your hand or deck, and add one monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand. Interesting, okay? And then two, if a face-up ritual monsters you control leaves the field by a card effect while this card is in your graveyard, and you now control no face-up ritual monsters, you can add this card to your hand. Okay, so first of all, the part about the spell, I think this is actually translated incorrectly before, so just want to call this out specifically. This doesn't add a monster mentioned on the ritual. It's not like pre-prep or anything like that. Or it doesn't add a monster mentioned on the ritual spell. It adds a monster that mentions the ritual spell. And I actually don't know how many of these there are. Because obviously you would think like, okay, Mitsurugi, but I don't think any of the monsters actually mention a specific ritual spell. I think they mention they could be used with any Mitsurugi ritual spell. Let me know if you know that in the comments below and what this applies to. I would be interested to see if there's any monsters that mention, I was just realizing this, the ritual of Light and Darkness, the new DMOC and BLS stuff. This card slots in perfectly. This searches literally every monster in that deck. Because the big thing about that deck is you don't want to search the ritual monsters. You want to search the new DMOC main deck monster that can discard itself to place your continuous spell on the field. So this is huge for that deck. And I'm sure there's a couple others here and there. This actually slots incredibly well into that deck because, because they have so many effects that will activate to bounce their ritual by card effect, although a lot of them bounce by cost. So it wouldn't actually count. In that deck, you typically only want to have, you might try to cycle your rituals, but there's a lot of times where you only want one. So this would work really well in this deck, and does just add this card back in. So I think this is really good in that deck specifically. But I can't really think of off the top of my head any other decks that would work well. Like what decks are kind of centered around a ritual spell and have multiple cards that mention it. But I think this has a lot of potential. Obviously, this can add ritual monsters, sure. So that's cute. Like if they specifically mention the ritual spell. So there's a lot there. I think this has options. I think this is not, for some decks, this is not going to like replace pre-prep or anything like that. But for some other decks, I think it will. I think there's going to be if this can search main deck monsters that get your combo going, this would be a big deal for rituals. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to give this, I'm feeling generous today. Fantastic. I think this just has so much potential for the future. I think this is going to be like a big card that any ritual deck now you're going to need to keep in mind. But yeah, let me know what decks actually fulfill this condition that have monsters that mention the ritual spell, and specifically decks that don't just have ritual monsters that mention a ritual spell, but other monsters as well. I know the DMOC stuff does that. Or the Light and Darkness stuff does that. But yeah, any other decks that have some level of relevancy, let me know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe. Thank you everyone who subscribed recently. We have recent influx. I'm trying to get to 200 by Mother's Day. I really appreciate all of you who do that. And ring that notification bell if you want to listen to me ramble about the remaining Chaos Origin reveals. We only have a little bit more than a week before the set's released in Japan, and we have a lot of cards. So I think they're doing a live stream maybe in a couple days, and they'll go through a bunch of them. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, without further ado, it's Fun Deck signing out. Bye.